Good morning, YouTube. Man, I'm always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we got some couple of shows this weekend, but we have a big one coming. This is one of the shows that I'm a fan of. I was hoping maybe go to the show this year, but then I went to Tampa, and maybe I might go next year. It's all depending on how my finances look next year. So we have here is the Linda Murray Tampa Bay Pro, as you know. Linda Murray Atlanta Pro. I apologize. I'm still getting over my experience at Tampa, and the ATL Pro. It's been a while for quite some time. I think it's going to be its third year, I believe, because it started a little bit right around the time when Norfolk was fading out and also Savannah was fading out. As you know, it's one of the few shows that still has women's bodybuilding as part of the lineup. And I just want to shout this out. But if you saw the list that was posted earlier this week, it's a very somber list. I mean, I'm kind of really disappointed. And you know what? I realized something. I invest too much of my outrage about this, on the promoters, but some of it is a bit on the competitors. But again, you know what? You can't make people that don't want to do what they should do. So, like again, I'm gonna tell you right now. No longer will I complain when I hear a promoter drops women's bodybuilding from their show. It's a business thing. It's saying what they focus on. And you ladies, don't be, and anyone who feel like I should be outraged about it, I'm not. I'm over it now. So, folks, but anyway, but shout out to these ladies who came here to represent their divisions. Some of these ladies, I would say, are top-level competitors, and some are very impressive ladies. So we only have, technically, 4 women overall, and 3 are doing open, and one lady is going to do exclusively, the Masters. The other 2 also going to add some more, but I think she should also do Masters open too. Hey, you don't have to pay to play. So we have the list here, and first off, we have here the lovely, we'll start her first because she is a legend, an OG, a true female bodybuilder. No, true women's bodybuilder. And the last of the women who started, in, WBB, and this is the lovely Michelle, Brent. As you know, Miss Brent, had a pleasure interviewing her a few months ago. She's a businesswoman, a wife, a mother. I mean, just amazing lady. I enjoyed our conversation. Been trying to get on for my channel for a long time. It was a great opportunity to have her. And, she's just doing the 40 plus, which qualifies for 2027 Master Olympia. And she thanked me for posting it and letting and recognize her. But also, hey, she can do the open, because you know what? There's nobody else there in open, and you can get an extra $500, whatever you can make from the Masters part. Hey, make a little change for yourself while you're there. I hope she does that. That's the opportunity for you can't miss. But I'm a fan of hers. She's a great lady, and she, especially for a woman her age, is still love of muscle and aesthetics. Her and people like Patty Corbett are truly what keeps this sport going. Not so much these up-and-comers and superstars, whatever, but these women who are in the ditches and still fighting, especially at their ages. And here we have the lady, a lovely lady, who competed in the show last year, and she was in the top 5. And that is a lovely Mrs. Patty Hansen. Now, Miss Hansen hasn't competed for quite some time before, and she earned a pro card as the Miss International, and she made her debut at the Rising Phoenix. And that was about, a good 5 years ago. Can you believe it? She took a step back because she's dealing with some issues medically. Amazing physique, great look, and very attractive woman. I can't lie. She's, and she's also a mother herself and a wife. We hope to see her maybe do another show. Maybe there's at least 2 more shows out west. Actually, 3 shows out west for her. There is the Rising Phoenix, which is now open qualification for women's bodybuilding to the Olympia. It was a qualification before, but as long as you have Andrea, Angela, and whoever got their qualification to go to Olympia, was an opportunity for anybody to get an Olympic qualification, but now it's open. Also, there's the Grand Prix, which is in Anaheim, and there's it's Steve Carr show at women's bodybuilding this year, but it's going to be qualification for 2027. I would say jump on that. But she's an amazing lady, amazing physique. Also, a lady who I got to see when was at Tampa, can it be 2 weeks ago? Maybe 2 weeks ago. That's lovely Hunter Henderson. Now, Miss Henderson has been competing for quite some time. Remember back in 2021, she made both her bodybuilding debut and her pro debut. She competed at the, I think it was the Midwest show in Omaha. Then she used USA's, where she got a pro card, and then she did her pro debut in Tampa, where she last competed. and women's bodybuilding, and took second to Mona Persley that year. And that was great. I mean, but then she took a step back, doing some stuff and personal stuff, issues, and we didn't see her till 2024. She took second in Chicago. Then she won her first qualification at the Anaheim show, where my dear friend Tina Williams competed there. Shout out to Tina. I hope hope she's doing all right. And shout out, just recently heard my big brother just went under surgery, and I hope he's doing fine. I'll probably call him this weekend. But Hunter's an amazing lady, great opportunity, still young. I think she's not even 30 yet. I think she's 29. She might be turning 30 this year. I'm trying to realize that, but she's still young and developing and growing. Next up, we have the lovely Mrs. Holly Jordan. Now, Miss Jordan just turned pro at the Teen Collegiate, which was about a month ago, and made her pro debut at the 2 Pro, competing in both 40s and 50 Masters class. And she's doing this show. I say, shout out to you. And this is where I'm saying like this. We have all these pro level competitors here. And this one lady who made her pro debut, just made a pro debut after turning pro about a month ago and jumping in this show. Excuse me, I got to pull myself back. I shouldn't be outraged, but you know what? I want to give a shout out to Miss Holly Jordan. I'd love to have her on the channel. I'd love to interview her and get her thoughts. Maybe we might see her do another show. There are still a few more shows left for Olympic qualification this year. And great, again, really appreciate her stepping in and doing what she's doing. Now, next up was last year's champion. And that is Michaela Aok. She won the show when it first debuted back in 2022. Actually, it was 2022. I think it was 2022. Yeah, it was 2022. And then she returned and we came to Tampa again in 2024. She took second to Mila Ash in 2023, and she won her qualification in Tampa. Was it a few weeks later? She took some step back because she's retired. Maybe not for good. You never know. But Perse Physique, great competitor, living and loving competitor, both from women's bodybuilding and women's physique. But I'm a fan of hers. I posted something on my IG. She, responded and tagged me back, and I would love to have an interview with her in the future if she ever has the time or wherever she feels like she's ready. But shout out to Michaela Aok, I would say a true competitor. Next up here is Christina Mendoza. Now, she's not doing this show. And I'm saying, why not? Because her performance in Chicago wasn't that great. She wasn't in condition, but you have at least a month. Chicago's pretty much about a month ago. So you're telling me you just couldn't, think about doing the show, come in condition? Where I'm hearing, she might be just bowing out of bodybuilding totally. She's what you call inconsistent. Even though she took second at the Chicago Pro, I feel like she didn't deserve second. I'm going to be biased. I think my friend Tina should have been a little higher, maybe third or second. But we all know the judges go by the look, the posing that has kept her going for quite some time. So I always say to her, if you're not going to be competitive, just go and work as a coach and a posing coach and a trainer. That's what you're doing now. You work with people like Lavinia Barros and Chelsea Dion. That's good work. That's the Vegas crowd. So if you're not going to be active in the sport of bodybuilding, we can use people behind the scenes, especially women. Next up is a lady who I got a pleasure interview. I saw her at Tampa because she was there at Tampa Bay. She's competed at Tampa Bay before, but she decided not to compete there this year, even though she's from that area. That is Anastasia Ryder. And Miss Ryder, she was third at Chicago. And I heard that she's going to do the show in Germany, Europa. She could have done the show. I understand. You could, like, come on. I'm willing this. Atlanta is not too far from Florida. That's, I think, a good 3-hour drive, just about from because remember, Michaela's from that area, around about Tampa, about Florida area, something like that. She's not too far, so you could have drive there. I mean, it's just, come on. And the other show is not till about a month. So you say you couldn't do the show, maybe place or even win? I mean, again, well, like I said, it's all up to these competitors if they want this bad enough, but it seems like some don't. But shout out to Anastasia. I had a pleasure to interview her. I think wish her best of luck in the upcoming show. Next up is Barbara Moian, another lady who I saw while I was at Tampa. She was, I think, in the top 3 at the Tampa Bay Pro, and also she was second at the Masters at Tampa. Perse Physique, she was qualified for this year's Master Olympia, but she didn't do it. So I thought maybe she might do Tampa, but she's not on the list. But I heard that she might be doing a show in Spain, Europa. I would say she should jump on the show. It was just barely a week, just maybe 2 weeks from, it's just 2 weeks from the Tampa show. So I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I need to stop fretting about it, but doing this content, I get too much myself into it. I should be pulling myself a little more back. Next up is a lady I got to talk to, Andy. She won the Women's Masters show, and she was in the top 5 at Tampa. And that is the lovely Miss Kesha Oliver. And Perse Physique, great look to it. As you know, she's working with Rachel Daniels as a trainer. And this is going to be a great show for her, too. I mean, we hadn't seen this, it's been barely 2 weeks since Tampa. What's going on? I mean, either she's waiting to do another show or she feels like she's done. I think where she lives, I think she lives around about Wisconsin, so it shouldn't be too far a drive or flight. But again, it's up to these ladies if they want to be competitive or not, especially if you want to get a little bit qualification, especially when shows will be pushing out women's bodybuilding because of the lack of numbers. And here we have is Rana. I don't want to mess up her last name. Rana, I know my man Dave interviewed a while back. I saw also there at Tampa. That was her pro debut. So, I mean, she could have jumped in the show too. I mean, but the thing is, she's just turned pro. I think she needs a little more time to stew. Maybe we might see her next year do a show. We can cross our fingers. But this would have been a great show to do also post the Tampa Bay Pro. Next up is my dear friend, Janine Lakowski. She's competed show before in the past. Didn't do too well at the Open or in the Masters. I think she was in the top 3 in the Masters. I'm a fan of her. Got a chance to meet and talk with her. This would have been a great show for her to done too. I mean, she's done it before in the past. But again, it's up to these competitors if they want to compete or not. Not so much for us, but for them. Next up was a lady who we have not seen since April. That's the Triple O Dynasty. That is Terresa Vasek. She was in the top 4. I think she was 4th. Yeah, I think she was 4th at the Tupelo. And then we thought maybe she might do another show. But from what I hear, her fiance, he got sick. I think she take care of him. And then also from things I've seen her and heard, I think she's going to step away from bodybuilding. I think she's planning on retiring. If she don't make the announcement by the end of the year, maybe the first of the year. But this has been a great show, because think about it. You had at least from April, May, June to July to this is about the middle of August. You had almost 4 months to get ready for the show. If you wanted to do the show, I mean, we need all hands on decks, all bodies. And this is a Olympia level competitor. Again, it's frustrating. Next up is a lady who I've been on my channel, had a couple of times on here, and we talked, a good bit. That is a lovely Big Jane. Big Jane, she was going to do New York, but then injuries set her back. Then she did Toronto, where she was in the top 5. And this has been a great show for her too, because give you enough time to get ready. After Toronto was around June, it's already the middle of August. That's almost at least 2.5 months to really make the adjustments and get ready. But I saw she was traveling in her homeland of Thailand, so that means that she's not invested in any show. She might not even compete the rest of this year. She might do the Anaheim show again, or try to do another show. But I hope she does. I think she has a great physique, great conditioning. Just need to bring her condition a little better. Huge quads, killer quads. Look at those quads. But just, hoping that she can jump on, or maybe we might see her next year. One more lady who usually we might see pop up. She did a show in the South. That was Savannah. She was top 5 Savannah back in 2020. That is Lisa Coldry. Now, we've not seen her since the Toronto show. She did the Triple O Dynasty back in April, and did this show, the Toronto Super Show, in June. So that's almost maybe another month and a half. We could have, got ready. I mean, again, we need ladies to be active. The ones who are active now, we need you to be more active. But again, she lives in Canada. Maybe there's issues. Canada and America now have a good relationship. But she did do the Triple O, so that's the East Coast. So, but again, it's up to her, or if she's going to or not, or maybe we might see her next year. And last, I would say, not least, the lady who I have on my channel and have interviewed her, and she looked impressive in her last couple of shows. And that is Lena Batak. Lena Perse Physique. Look at this. This is the most muscular pose. Beautiful physique. Great conditioning. She lives in Virginia. And what's that? Maybe a good 5-6 hour drive, or maybe an hour flight, depending how the flight goes. I mean, this has been a great show for her too. She can do both Open and Masters. I mean, she has a Perse Physique. I think she can probably win the Masters and maybe hit the top 5, top 3 at the Open. You know what? But I know she has a job, family responsibilities, and the cost of competitor is expensive. But ladies, you should know, when you get into the sport, it's going to be expensive. You're going to spend more than you get back. We hope we see her next year. She's top 3 at New York. You know, there's only 3 competitors. And I think she has a beautiful physique, great conditioning. I mean, she looks amazing. I think she keeps evolving. And this would have been a great show to see her in and see how she looks previously from New York. Now, this is the list for women's physique. And you see this list is stacked. I saw an interview with my man, shout out to my man Glenn, did an interview with Marika, how he says that women's physique has been double digits in about every other show where I have not seen anything under 10. You know, some days up to 20. And, you know, and women's physique competitors, there's not too much, you know, it's like size and condition compared to women's bodybuilding other than the size. So what's the difference between physique and bodybuilding? It's just, this is a debate about it. You know, I mean, we have some ladies who are, one lady here is already qualified for the Olympia, and we have an Olympia qualified competitor in this show. And some ladies who I even saw at Tampa no more than a couple of weeks ago. So my mind is just, it's a bit of frustration and just wondering what's going on. So next up, and also, as you know, it's a master show, and, you know, it gets good numbers. Pretty much you've seen the same ladies doing open as doing masters, ones who are old enough. And the first lady here, the lovely, cute little thing, Alex Blankenship. I had the pleasure of interviewing Alex just a few days ago. You know, what's actually for like last week. It was last week just about. Yeah, you know, just a beautiful personality. Can't believe she's 48. She's cute. She's one of the few women who I got to meet before I did an interview. And, you know, it was just a great opportunity to meet her. I mean, she's just amazing person, you know, her family background. I call her soul sister because her father's black, her mother's Korean. So, you know, she's a great person. She's also a suit designer. So you can check out my interview with Alex. And also, if you're a competitor interested in want to save money on suit, check out her stuff. They're really good looking stuff. Next up, we have is one Miss Gloria Bond Funds. I got a name wrong. I apologize. I believe she last competed in 2024. She was going to do a show this year, but then she dropped out. She was on the list, and now she's doing this show. She's doing both Open and Masters. Next up we have here is Gabriella de Leon, and she's been competing for quite some time. I think the last time she competed was the 2023 Rising Phoenix. So it's been a couple of years. Great physique, you know, great shape. You know, don't know much about her. You know, I think she's originally from Mexico, and you know, it'd be somebody I would love to interview if she speaks English. That's the problem is, you know, here's my thing. If you don't speak English in translation, you lose something in translation if you have a translator. Next up is a lady who I got to also meet, Kim G. Her last name I'm not going to try to pronounce. Kim's a lovely person. We talked a bit. I was hoping maybe do an interview sometime with her future. You know, she did women's 45 and also she did open. And she, you know, amazing person. Great story about her, what she's been through. I'm a fan of Kim. I mean, hoping in the future we do get an interview. I know she interviewed my man David before he got an interview with me. I'm going to let it go, but she's like cute, petite, nice, killer abs. Great set of abs. I hope she does well this show. She's also doing Masters. Next up is Britney Herrera, better known as Britney Flex. You know, she just made a return after a 4-year absence from competitive bodybuilding. She took and won the title at the Texas Pro, winning $15,000. Just saw I did interview with my man Glenn. You go to the Amazon Fitness Magazine YouTube channel where she did an interview with him a couple of days ago. Now she's qualified for her, I think this is her 3rd Olympian. She's been twice before. And I think the last time was 2020. Amazing lady, amazing physique. She really has evolved over the years. Next up, we have a lady I got to meet and talk to, and that's the lovely Mrs. Daphne Holmes. You know, Daphne's been on my channel quite a few times. Her husband was competing at Tampa that day, but she was just there hanging out. And the thing is, even though she wasn't competing, now she last competed in Chicago, and I understand she could break from Chicago and from Tampa and do this show. She's done Tampa quite a few times. As you remember, she did wellness for a minute and then went back to physique. Great arms, great woman, beautiful to meet her in person. Like I said, I'm a fan of Daphne. I think she's an amazing person, and I hope to maybe might do an update video in the future. Next up is one Miss Susan Horton. And this is going to be her debut. I believe she turned pro about a couple years at North Americans. Not much know about her, but this is going to be her pro debut. Next up is another lady who I've been on my channel before, the lovely Mrs. Jessica Hoffeller. Now, Mrs. Hoffeller last competed at the Atlantic Coast Pro. Amazing lady, great physique. I'm hoping maybe we can do like a real interview because we originally was going to do a little panel, but everybody didn't come. It was just me and her and Jeremy. And then we didn't really do more in-depth interview. We just talk about her a little bit. But amazing lady, she's from Pittsburgh. I got introduced her by my dear friend Marianne Wachowski. So I hope she does this show, does great. I think she's also doing Masters. Next up we have here is one Miss Alexandra Kerry. Her name's a lot longer, so we just cut it down because I think it's Greek and very complicated. Now, she competed at Texas Pro. She was top 3 at that show. Amazing physique, good conditioning. She's from the UK. I think there's some amazing women come from out of the UK the last few years. But I hope she does well at the show. Next up, we have a lady also I got to meet while I was at Tampa. And even she's been on my channel a couple of times for interviews. The lovely Miss Angela Nory. Now, Angela she's tall. She is tall. I mean, great physique. Size, that's the thing with her. She just comes in great conditioning. But I think she's a great person. Been in contact with her. I got to meet her while I was at Tampa. We talked for a minute because she was getting ready to go hit the stage for the prejudging. But maybe sometime again we might have her back on and maybe get her views, especially this season for her competing. Next up we have is the lovely Mrs. Patricia Perez. I messed up her name before, but this is her, I think, her second show. She competed no more than last weekend at the Tupelo. And she's been competing for quite some time, but this is her second show this year, competing at Atlanta. Next up, we have here one Miss, Nejin Raymond. Now, Miss Raymond competed at the, Atlanta Pro last year, and she competes in Masters. Next up is one Dr. Megan Santa Barbara. As you know, I got to meet her too when I went to Tampa. We talked a little bit. She was going to do Texas, dropped out of Texas, and then she's doing this show. She took second to Zama at Tampa. And I'm telling you, might be a battle for this chance for Olympia between her and Britney. Britney already got a qualification, so more likely the judge might favor her a little more. She has a great look to her, great physique. You saw her up close in person. She's attractive too, can't lie. But she lives here in South Carolina. There's my neighbor next door. Amazing physique, great potential. As you know, she took second to Zama, so this could be her Olympic qualification. She was doing figure, and also she had a stint in wellness. And now she made her women's physique debut at Tampa. Next up we have here is a young upcoming competitor. I've got to make sure I get a name right before I mess it up. We have here is, I got to pull up her name because sometimes I forget. I should always keep the names up and ready. We have here, Perse Stevens. I think that's her name is. I'm looking up the name so I won't get it right. Perse Stevens. So this is going to be her pro debut. I believe she turned pro at the Universe about a couple of years ago or last year. So I don't know much about her. I did saw that her IG is private, so I made a request. So maybe I get the follow back. Next up, we have a lady who has been on my channel. Me and my man Kay both interviewed her. Also my man David, and that is Miran Van Gek. She's a lawyer from Chile, mother of a son of an autistic child. Beautiful lady, beautiful physique. She got a qualification for the Olympia at the 2024 Van Isle show, and she's doing this show. And I think she got a price physique. I hope she does well. I mean, it's gonna be tough. Like I said, I think it's gonna be between Britney and most definitely Megan for the top spot. But like I said, she's a great personality by her, and just a very proud woman from the country of Chile. Next up, we have the lady also had a pleasure of having on my channel, the lovely Mrs. Tiffany Walker. As you know, Miss Walker. She's been competing for quite some time. Also, she has served our country. So as anybody who served our country, I don't say thank you for your service. I say as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you have made. As you know, she widgeted her figure for a good while, and she switched over to women's physique for the last couple of years. We were talking in her last interview that she's thinking about maybe this might be her last year. We never know. Some of you say, I'm going to be tired, I'm going to quit. But then next thing you know, they come back for one more show. Like, look Miss Michelle, she announced her retirement about 2 years ago, and she comes out of retirement to just do actually, he was going to do 2 shows. She dropped out of Tupelo, and then now she's doing the Atlanta show. But step up to there. Shout out to Tiffany. I hope she does well in this show. And last we have here, Miss Heather Wright. Now, Miss Wright made her debut at Tupelo. She was a figure competitor. Now she's doing women's physique. She on the pro card about a year or two ago. Perse Physique. Maybe have her on for an interview. Sometimes we chat to these ladies and, Sometimes I get responses, sometimes I don't. But like I said again, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I might be too hot for some, but I'm just right for others. Now, one person I wouldn't mind seeing doing this show. And she's not too far. She lives in Missouri. Missouri's not too far from Atlanta. And she did this record history, taking a 7-hour drive from Tupelo, Mississippi to Dallas, Texas to compete at the Texas Pro after finishing the Tupelo. And that's something I posted. You can go to my IG. She is the Iron Woman herself. The lovely Miss Marika Jones. And Marika, amazing person. Just saw an interview with her, my man, in Amazon Fitness magazine podcast. She's very passionate about it. But right now, she's going to shut it down. I was really concerned because doing 2 shows that close together, but it seemed like she had a plan. I don't have plans, but she did. I mean, this was a great show to do. I will say that this. Taking forth to Tupelo wasn't really worth it. I will say skip Tupelo, did Texas, and do this show. She's done it before. She was in, I think, the top 3. She was the first call out. I think she was second or third when she made her pro debut back in 2023 at this show. This has been a great show to do. But like I said, she's going to step back. I think she's done. Maybe we might see her next year and do the show. Try to get a little bit of qualification. She's a smart lady, beautiful person, great mother. Her daughter's about to start school as a junior. Shout out to her. A fan of Marika, maybe I might have her back on for another time. She's a beautiful woman. I can't lie. I put up there my girl Andrea. But I think she's a great person, amazing woman, and I have much respect for her, and especially what she did. That's something historical. Not too many women can do back-to-back shows that soon and still do pretty well, making top 3 after taking 4th at Tupelo. I'm going to go into this list a little bit, not too deep because there are too many competitors, but I will focus on certain competitors that a couple ladies have done interviews with, and some really stand out. And also say again, it's also a master's qualification for figure. As you know, first lady I have here, the lovely Mrs. Natasha Marshall. Now, I got to meet her and talk with her at Tampa. Beautiful physique. She also was top 3 at the Tampa, and also I think she was doing the masters too, where she also was top 3. Great physique, great potential. I think she's the standard of what figure should be. Great conditioning, great overall build, not too much size where you're starting to look like there's too much difference, too close to difference between figure and physique now. Honestly, she's really what I would say the standard. If you look at Cindy Gillen and stuff like that, she's the standard to me. So I hope she does win this show. Next is a lady who possibly could win this show, and that is Kamar Graham. Now, she's from the UK. Now, she originally was a fitness competitor, just like Missy Trescott, who won this show last weekend. Perse Physique. So I feel like her and Natasha could probably crack the top 3. It might even be a battle for first place, depending on the other ladies. There's quite a few other ladies on here, but these are 2 I really say stand out the most for me. Now, next up is a lady who just did the Masters Olympia just last weekend. That's the lovely coach, Dee Jackson. Follow her on social media. I know I've interviewed some of her clients. Amazing lady, great condition, great shape. And also, she did pretty good. I think she was in the top 10 in figure at that show, especially doing Masters. That's 40 plus. And she's doing both open and Masters. I'm surprised, doing the show just barely a week after doing the Masters Olympia in Japan. But the thing, you gotta remember, the bikini, wellness, and I would say figure are a different level compared to physique and women's bodybuilding. You don't have much mass and size. And, also she knows she's a smart coach, smart trainer. I follow on social media. She really knows how to put things together. So I am going to plan to do a video for the figure girls later today. I'm going to post it on my IG. Right now, I'm working on some other stuff, and I do it when I get a chance to. Next is a lady that my man Glenn interviewed. That is Evadra. I hate to mess up her name. Mandum. If I get it wrong, I want to apologize. Amazing physique. As you know, she got her master level qualification at the Triple O, which was a few months ago. She's a doctor of pharmaceuticals, just amazing physique. She's in my home state of North Carolina, right here in my own backyard. Beautiful physique. She was a national competitor. She was in OCB. Now she moved to NPC and now the IVB. Just crazy physique. She in places well. I'm just wondering what you mean? She looks like the criteria what you want to see in figure. But the thing is, it's just, the judges can be, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. But I think she's a great physique. I would love to interview her in the future if I can. And I have another lady who is a doctor, especially a lady in doctor, as a pharmacist. And I remember I interviewed Andrea Matthews, also completed the master's. She's also a doctor of pharmacy. Next up we have is Lauren Martin Stowe. As you know, she is a very popular competitor. Been competing for quite some time. She's from out of Canada. She hadn't competed in the last couple of years. At one point, she had a stint in women's physique, and now she's switched over to figure. I think it fits for her. She has a great look, great physique. I think they call her the She-Hulk, and amazing body. I follow her on content, so like I said, I hope she does well at this show. And last but not least, the lady who I have on my channel before, the lovely Mrs. Heather Tillery. She also works in the medical field. Amazing lady. Been in contact with her. I hope she did pretty good at the Tupelo, placed in top 5. I hope she does well at this show. So, let's wish her best of luck. And last but not least, we have here one Miss Christina Zarova. Christina, she's from Slovenia. Now, with the last couple of shows, she was top 2. And at the Texas, she was 3rd. And I thought she might do pretty good at this show. I thought she might even win, but the win went to Rhea Gill. Perse Physique, she's still young, just 24 years old this year. Great potential. Maybe after this, I think if I was a coach and if I was her, I'd just shut it down. She's done at least, but at 24, she's kind of like Paula at 25. When you're young, you can do this, do that, but even that, youth can't always stop the things that happen with your body. So her physique's kind of growing. I mean, maybe in a few years, you might see her do women's physique instead of figure. But she has that potential, men's physique. I know the female bodybuilding channel is a big fan of hers. They interviewed her a while back when she made her debut last year. Great shape, great conditioning. Maybe she's a little off because of traveling from Europe to America, and maybe staying here for a bit, and maybe working and training might help her. Sometimes you got to really get situated in a new place. But I hope she does well. I mean, she has a great potential. Maybe we might even get to see her in Olympia in 2027 or 2026. Now, the Linda Murray show, the main show is starting tomorrow. We have women's bodybuilding, physique, and figure, some of the other divisions. And the other ones are going to be on Saturday. Also, they're going to start with the amateurs first. That's around about, I think, 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, depending where you're at. I'm not going to watch it because right now, as you know, I just had my trip from Tampa and still I have to try to, I got just at least a few more weeks left in August. So I got to stretch a dollar. I got to hold on a dollar. I got to, make the dollar bleed. Like I say, if I had a real job where I was making some income, yeah, I could, I'll pop in and watch it. But, sometimes, it's just how it is. And especially living on Social Security, it's just a stretch. But I will, see if I can find, when they post some stuff and whatever, or some clips and stuff, I'll post on my social media. I'll wait till the outcome. It's going to be, like I said, again, the main part of it is not till 11 o'clock. So we probably won't know anything till about maybe the pre-judging will be probably till a little after 12. And then the finals be later that afternoon, evening time. So then we find out who's the winners. But to me, I feel like we really much know who's going to win women's bodybuilding. I think it's going to be Hunter. If not, maybe, Patty. She's very impressive for what I've seen her on social media, especially in her training. But again, you never know with the judges what they look at it for. But go check it out. I will leave a link to the live stream. You want to watch it. Support Linda Murray. I mean, again, she and Lena and a couple other promoters are the few promoters still giving women's bodybuilding a chance, even though the competitors are not giving it a chance. So again, I'm going to apologize to the people like Tim Gardner, to other promoters who have dropped women's bodybuilding from the show. My outrage shouldn't be not my outrage. Outrage should be the competitors. And I shouldn't be outraged because I understand this is a business for you, and you have to focus on the business part of it. If you don't show up, you don't show out, women's bodybuilding don't have a place anywhere. And you talk about how you wish more shows and more promoters do that, but if you're not going to come and represent it, and again, if there's any issues, okay, good. But the rest of y'all, come on, you don't have any problem. Do this show. Support Linda Murray. She's the one remember, she was talking about the whole thing with Arnold. Everybody was on her back because she was talking about Arnold's raising the prize money of the show. But that's why we support her, because the fact that she's still fighting for women's bodybuilding, even though the rest of you are not. Anyway, go check it out. The show's going to start around about 8 or 9 that morning on tomorrow. And also, the pros part is going to be around 11 later that afternoon, late morning. So check it out. Support Linda Murray and I'll support the women's bodybuilding. It's around Nory George page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out.